NFL fans, welcome back to another episode of the J All Day Sports Show. I'm live from my parents' house back in Philly. We're in town for the holidays, so LA is staying over there being nice and warm, and I am freezing my ass off here in Philadelphia. I can't wait to bring you my Week 16 final picks. We're going through all 16 games. I'm going to break down which team I think is going to win for every single contest. We went 12-4 last week. We are 76-25 over the last 6 weeks. So this channel continues to be one of the premier spots to get your picks for NFL games each and every week. Let's get into it. Before we get started, if you guys could do me a huge favor, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps get this video out in the algorithm. I'm continuing to bring premier content once again. 12-4 last week. We're crushing it. We're going to crush it again in week 16. Let's get into these games. We're kicking off Thursday night football, Broncos at the Chargers. This is a very important game, guys. I can't express how important this game is for each of these teams. The Chargers got their asses kicked by Tampa Bay last week. The Denver Colts game was really weird. They got out to a really slow start. I think they scored, 21 points in the fourth quarter. Bo Nix led a comeback. Very, very, very impressive, right? I think he is, he might be the best rookie quarterback so far this year. I think he's surpassed Jaden Daniels, who's kind of went cold a little bit. For me, out of all these guys, we're going to see what Michael Penix Jr. has this week. He's getting the start for the Atlanta Falcons, but I love myself some Bo Nix. People thought I was crazy when I was like, this dude's got a lot of talent, and I don't give a shit that he's 2 years older than all the other guys. That doesn't matter to me because quarterbacks have a larger lifespan anyway, right? So 2 years doesn't really make a difference. If this dude can ball out, he's doing great with Sean Payton. I'm very impressed. The LA Chargers, on the other hand, the running back position is not very strong. Outside receivers, not great. I do love myself some Ladd McConkey. He's very, very talented. I just don't think it's enough. I think the Broncos defense, with those cornerbacks, Pat Surtain is probably going to lock down Ladd McConkey if he's going to travel, especially if, Herbert's going to him over and over and over again. They might flip him from the outside, go inside with Ladd, who kind of lines up all over the formation anyway. So I'm going with the Denver Broncos to win this game. Plus 2.5 for the Broncos on the road. I like that as well. I love myself the Denver Broncos to get a W here. Next up, we have 2 Saturday games. Houston Texans, Kansas City Chiefs. We have some breaking news. According to Andy Reid, it looks like Patrick Mahomes is going to play in this spot versus the Houston Texans. Reid and Mahomes both know how valuable this game is if they want home field advantage. Because if they lose over the next few weeks, we have week 16, 17, 18. So we got 3 weeks left. If they go on a 3-game losing streak, a team like the Buffalo Bills can kind of sneak in there and take the number 1 seed. And the Chiefs really, really don't want to play that first week in the playoffs. They want that number 1 seed. To me, the Houston Texans just aren't a very good football team, man. They're just not. Tons of pre-snap penalties. The offensive line has been mediocre at best. They lead the NFL in offensive line penalties. It's pretty bad, man. Pretty bad. The defense, for me, the pass rush isn't as good as I thought it was going to be this year. And our man, CJ Stroud, who's got all the talent in the world, just doesn't have enough time to throw. I love the wide receivers that the Texans have, but if CJ Stroud's under duress all the time, it doesn't really make a difference. The Chiefs, it's going to be tough to play there at home. It's going to be cold as shit in Kansas City. We just left Kansas City. It was freezing cold. Freezing cold. I like the Chiefs to win this game. Next up, Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens. There's reports that TJ Watt's not feeling so good either. George Pickens is on the fence whether he's going to play or not, but no Pickens, no Watt. It makes it easier for me to pick the Baltimore Ravens. I thought they were going to win anyway, but they're at home versus a team without their 2 superstars, man. It's going to be tough sledding for the Steelers team that offensively they don't look too sound right now. They're very predictable. It's like, I'm going to throw the ball to the tight end, or we're going to run the ball. The outside receivers haven't really stepped up in Pickens' absence. And we have to remember, yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers are middle of the road. I think they're ranked 18th against the pass and top 5 against the run. But I really think that's because teams are opting to pass. In some games, like the Giants game, what was that, 5 weeks ago, something like that, they've been kind of susceptible to the run. So if I'm the Ravens. I'm going with the run. Even if it doesn't work in the first quarter, I'm sticking with the run. Sticking with pounding the rock. That's how you win this game. Baltimore Ravens get it done. Next up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Commanders. The Eagles won that first contest. They had a very good formula of how to stymie what Jaden Daniels likes to do best, is throw those deep balls down the field, right, with Terry McLaurin. For me, the Commanders need somebody not named Terry McLaurin to step up in this offense and provide Jaden Daniels with another outlet for the football. We all know the Commanders' defense is not very good. The D-line's just mediocre at best. The secondary's pretty cheeks, in my opinion. I think the Philadelphia Eagles with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown can really attack this Commanders secondary. And the Eagles' defense, schematically, it's just what a world of a difference from 1 year. He's got guys like Nakobe Dean, who didn't really play well at all before this season, playing extremely well at a high level. Zach Bond is included in that as well. This kind of 3-4 scheme is working out great for the Philadelphia Eagles. That bend, not break, can get you in trouble sometimes, especially against high-powered offenses. But fortunately for the Eagles this week, the Commanders have a good offense, good-ish, but it's not great. It's not the Detroit Lions, the Buffalo Bills, the Chiefs, some of these explosive offenses like the Rams. But I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles, and -3.5 seems like a gift to me. I don't know what Vegas is thinking in this spot. The way the Eagles contained the Commanders earlier in the year, I like the Philadelphia Eagles in this spot. No doubt about it. All right, here's another game with a line that I thought would be a little bit higher. 6.5's the line. Detroit Lions on the road taking on the Bears. Okay, the Lions, David Montgomery is now done for the year. They lost the D tackle, another slot guy. I mean, 21 guys on IR is just an insane number. I've never seen anything like that at all in my life. But Dan Campbell has these guys playing. They have the best offensive coordinator in the NFL, in my opinion. Jared Goff is on the road, though, and he has had the history of not performing particularly well outdoors, especially in Chicago. It's going to be windy as shit, cold as an MF. Maybe the Bears can keep it close. The Lions got to rely on the run game, use that very good offensive line, use play action a lot in this game. I'm taking the ball out of Jared Goff's hands for at least a little bit of the game. Short passes, get Amon-Ra St. Brown on some jet sweeps, kind of switch up the play calling a little bit. We got to be a little more creative in this spot because the weather's going to probably be cold and windy like it always is this time of year in Chicago. So take that into consideration if you're betting on this game. I'm pretty much going to avoid point spread bets on this game. I do think the Lions win because the Bears are just the Bears. They shoot themselves in the foot, highly penalized, poorly coached. It's a bad recipe for the NFL, guys. Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals. Jameis Winston got benched, but that's not going to matter at all. The Browns defense is just kind of grasping at straws. They kind of took a step back this year. I do love myself some Denzel Ward and some Myles Garrett, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, but this is a dynamic offense. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow are doing all this behind a pretty shitty offensive line, which is extremely impressive. But the Bengals do have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. And didn't Nick Chubb get hurt? I think he broke his leg or something. He's done for the year as well. So I just don't think the Browns are going to be able to keep up with the Bengals in this spot. I think the Bengals hang up a 30-burger pretty easily, in my opinion. So I'm going with the Bengals in this spot to get a big W. 8.5 is a lot for a division game. I don't love laying the points down. There's a lot of games I'm just avoiding altogether. Me and my dad did a spread picks video. I'll leave that link in the description below, so make sure you check that out. Okay, we're going with the Bengals. Next up, another line that I'm very interested in betting is the -3 on the Rams. I love the Rams in this spot. The New York Jets defense, since Robert Saleh has gotten fired, has been pretty bad in my opinion. They weren't necessarily performing up to the level of expectation when Robert Saleh got fired, but they've been horrible since. They can't stop the run at all. I mean, they're not getting a pass rush even with Hassan Reddick. I just think the Rams tear them up. I do like the young pass rushers led by Jared Verse for the Rams. The secondary needs a little bit of an upgrade in my opinion. Safeties have been just mediocre. But in the second half of that game last week, the Jets really turned it on with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Is this a trend or an anomaly? We'll have to see in this spot. The Rams are leading the NFC West. So this is a very important game. We have a game that really matters to the Rams, and the Jets are the Jets. And of course, and in December football never matters to the Jets because they suck. I'm going with the Rams to win this game. Must-win spot, high-powered offense, decent defense against a team that's just probably going to make business decisions and not play 100%. I like the Rams. All right, next up, we got the Arizona Cardinals, Carolina Panthers. Panthers regressed a little bit last week. Bryce Young got the shit kicked out of him by the Cowboys defense. The Arizona Cardinals defense is not as dynamic as the Cowboys defense, but they're an okay unit. I love myself some Budda Baker, who just got that extension. The Carolina Panthers defense is not very good. I want the Arizona Cardinals to get Trey McBride a touchdown, for goodness sake. Oh my gosh. Probably the best tight end in the NFL. No touchdowns. The offensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals, his name's escaping me at the moment, but the dude needs to be shit canned. To have a guy, a weapon like Trey McBride, not get into the end zone here in Week 16 is embarrassing. That dude should be ashamed of himself. I'm going with the Cardinals to win this spot. Another team, it's a must-win for the Cardinals. The game is on the road, and the line is creeping up. It was at like 4.5. Now it's at 5. Looks like some juice is coming in on Arizona. But Carolina, minus last week, has been playing better. Bryce Young has been playing better the last 4 or so weeks. Last week, not so much. He got sacked like 50 million times. But I like the Cardinals to win this game. But I'm happy for Bryce Young that he's playing a little bit better. All right. New York Giants, Atlanta Falcons. The Giants are so bad. Oh my gosh, the Giants. What's it, Joe Sheen is their GM, right? He needs to be fired. Hire me. I could do 10 times the job that he's doing for the Giants right now. Letting Saquon walk. Letting Xavier McKinney walk to the freaking Packers. What the hell is this dude doing? In the NFL, this is a superstar league, guys. You don't let talent like that walk out of your building. You just don't do it. You don't do it. And they did it to sign some offensive linemen. Yeah, that's going to make Daniel Jones a lot better. Give me a break, dude. Take your blinders off. Daniel Jones is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's a backup. But Kirk Cousins got benched for the Falcons, right? He's played like shit the last 6 weeks. Like booty cheeks. Like gigantic, huge ones. He's been awful. Barely got a W last week against a piss poor team. I'm excited to see what Penix can do. I'm really excited about that. They got all these weapons. Bijan and Pitts and London. Kirk Cousins needs to be better. I don't know. I guess I'm going to go with the Falcons to win this game. Do they cover the 8.5? I don't know. Probably going to be a low-scoring game like last week. It's going to be like a 15-12 type of deal. But I'm going with the Falcons to get the dub. Titans versus the Colts. I like the Colts at home here. The Titans are just in complete disarray. Will Levis got benched. Looks like Mason Rudolph's going to be the quarterback, but we all have seen what Mason Rudolph can do in the NFL. He's not a starting quarterback either. So Anthony Richardson should be a little bit better this week. He's at home, better conditions, not playing in the freezing ass cold in Denver. I like the Colts, and the minus 3.5 looks kind of juicy to me. And then if you bought a 1.5, get it down to -2 in that minus 150 range. I like that bet. But straight up, and minus 192, I don't hate that either. I like the Colts to win this game for sure. There's a better team, and that defense, the young defense, is getting better and better each week, led by Latu. Latu is one of my favorite players in this past draft. He was very dynamic. I wish the Eagles got a guy like that because he is incredible. Him and Edgerrin Cooper were my two favorite defensive players in the draft, and they're both performing exceptionally this year. All right, going with the Colts at home. Vikings, Seahawks. I haven't heard an update on Geno Smith, whether he's going to play or he's not going to play. The earlier report suggested that he is going to play. Sam Darnold's a strange guy. Some passes, he's taking that 3-5 step drop, missiles out across the numbers. He looks really good. Then he throws balls across the middle, and there's like 17,000 guys there. It's just like, what the hell do you think's going to happen, man? His decision making is a little suspect. I think that might bite him in the ass in the playoffs. Seahawks are in a must-win spot too. But I like the Vikings offense. It's so dynamic. Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. I think they can cook the Seahawks pretty mediocre defense. This could be a higher scoring game than 42.5. My bet for this game is the over 42.5. I like that spot. Check the weather on this game though, because if it's raining and shitty and super windy, maybe that's why the line's low. We'll have to keep an eye on that weather report. Minnesota Vikings get the W for me. Patriots Bills. The Bills are going to win this game, right? They got to win. They want to keep pace with the Chiefs for that number 1 seed. They look great. Josh Allen is playing out of his mind. I think he has surpassed Saquon Barkley in the MVP race. Even though Saquon is putting up historic numbers, Josh Allen's just playing out of his mind, guys. He's playing out of his mind. It's crazy to watch. That ass kicking they put on Detroit in Detroit was pretty unbelievable. Pretty unbelievable. James Cook was cooking as well. Drake May is a one-man band for the Patriots, man. Their offense, they need to go sign some free agents, draft a bunch of offensive players, offensive line. For me, if I'm the GM of the Patriots this year, I'm just concentrating in the first 4 rounds on offense. Offensive line and weapons. We need a lot of them. Buffalo Bills win this game. Then we've got a very interesting game. The 49ers are out. Another running back. How did all these guys keep getting hurt? What the F are they putting in the water in San Francisco? Miami Dolphins put a shitburger on the board last week. I thought they were going to be able to be in that game against the Texans team. And if you watched it, the Texans didn't play great. The Dolphins just played like absolute turd burgers, guys. They put an absolute shit show performance on the board last week. A game they needed to win. Now, pretty much their playoff hopes are completely over. This is a battle of 2 teams that are technically still alive, but it's pretty low probability that either of these teams make the playoffs. I think the 49ers, after all that shit with that guy not wanting to come in the game, they're going to rally the troops, get the toxic energy out of the locker room, get a big road victory. I'm going with the 49ers to get a dub here. George Kittle needs to rally the dudes, get a big W over the Dolphins team that kind of gave up last week. Jaguars versus the Raiders. I like the Jaguars in this spot. The Raiders are without Max Crosby. I do like Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. I think they're very talented players, but Desmond Ridder sucks. And Mac Jones has actually been playing pretty good. He put up almost 300 yards versus the Jets last week. Pretty impressive stuff. If you watch this channel, you know I think Mac Jones sucks, but the last couple weeks, he's been playing a lot better. And nobody on the Raiders offense is playing good at all right now. I'm going with the Jaguars to get a road victory. Buccaneers versus the Cowboys. This is a very interesting game. My dad had a very good point when we were doing our spread picks video where the Buccaneers look great some weeks. Like, I don't want to play this team in the playoffs. And then they look lost and terrible. I'm hoping good Baker Mayfield shows up in this spot because I'm going to ride with the momentum here, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But that Cowboys defense has been playing nasty and gritty the last couple weeks, so this could be a close game. Maybe the under's in play. I'm not really sure. I'm not an over or under better too much, really, guys. But I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this game because they need to win, straight up. The Cowboys aren't really playing for much. But Cooper Rush had his best game of his career last week against the Panthers, 3 touchdown passes. But I'm still going with the Buccaneers. Then on Monday night, wrapping up week 16. Excuse me, everyone. It's been a long week. We just did our road trip from LA all the way to Philly. We went from LA to Vegas to Zion National Park to Denver to Kansas City to some ass backwoods place in Ohio, and then finally home to Philadelphia. I'm exhausted. Last game of the week. I'm here for you guys each and every week. That's why you gotta like and subscribe to the channel, please. Saints versus the Packers. The Packers dominate this game from pillar to post. The Saints look like shit. The quarterback situation there, I guess Spencer Rattler is the de facto quarterback. He came in the second half and played okay-ish, but it looks like Jair Alexander is probably going to be back for this game. The Packers need to stay pace too. For the playoffs, I think the Packers get a big home win, and then Spencer Rattler, a rookie first game playing in Lambeau in December. Yikes! Packers get a W, guys. Thank you so much. That's week 16. My final predictions and picks. Don't forget to like and subscribe.